I want you to have a man who will cherish you, who will never want to let you go, who will give you the love you've always dreamed of and that you truly deserve. So I'm going to lay out for you 5 more ways to make him worry about losing you. My name is Stefan Labossiere, aka Stefan Speaks, back for another dating and relationship advice video for women. Again, we're going to be talking about 5 more ways to make him worry about losing you. And before we get into it, as always, be sure to like this video, share it, comment below. But let's get to it. All right, so I have a previous video, the 9 secret ways to make him worry about losing you. Definitely check it out. I will put a link at the end of this video on the video for you to click on that you can go watch that. But I have 5 more because there's a lot more for us to talk about, and I want to make sure you have all the information you need. Now, let's get to number 1. Number 1 is actually something that I mentioned in the previous video, but by mistake, I did not go into it, all right? So what I mentioned was there has to be rewards and consequences. So in the video, I explained the consequences and essentially not letting a man think you'll never walk away. And what I mean by that is, as long as he does what he's supposed to do, he can feel like you'll be there. But he can't think that he can act a fool and you're going to stick with him no matter what. That's a problem that will definitely put you in a position where the relationship is going to start to deteriorate at that point. But on the flip side, we also need to reward good behavior. So listen, there's this unfortunate mindset that a lot of people have, both men and women, and their mindset goes like this. Well, they're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. Stop. Stop by making this by dismissing and devaluing someone's actions because it's supposed to be common sense. That's supposed to come with the job, so to speak. No. Anytime someone makes a choice to do right by you in any way, it's a choice they made. It's an action that should be appreciated. And what we have to understand is appreciation breeds production. When people feel more appreciated, they will do more of it. Now, this is extremely important when dealing with men because men are creatures of, if it don't work, I won't do it anymore. And what I mean by that is, small example, if he always starts off by getting you flowers every week, right? And he starts to notice there's not much of a reaction to it. It doesn't seem to be that well liked by you. There will come a point where he probably will stop giving the flowers in most cases because to him, it's not effective. It holds no true value to you. However, if he saw that it always made your day better, if he saw that you appreciated it, if you gave him that kiss in the cheek or you did that thing that he likes, this is going to make him want to do it more. So here's another example that's just weighing on me, and it's a quick story I read a few years ago, all right? And just bear with me here because it's a little sexual, but it drives the point home, okay? And this is actually something that the men need to hear too, but I know it's mainly women watching right now. Anyways, so there was a story of a man, I remember reading it on Reddit, where he had a woman that loved to watch chick flicks, as you would call it, all right? Movies that pretty much women like but men don't care for. Anyways, she would want him to watch it, but he was never a fan of those types of movies, all right? But one day he decided, I can't remember exactly how the story went at this point, but I know he decided to finally watch it with her. And what happened was, and again, just work with me here, she ended up giving him oral during the movie. So he was like, okay, wait a minute. I did this thing she liked, and then she did this thing that I like. Let me watch the movie with her again. so he does it again, and she does it again. And it gets to a point where essentially whether that was her intention or not, she essentially was rewarding his behavior. And so what he said was, now it got to a point where, one, it wasn't that every single time he watched a movie with her, she did that. And it wasn't even that he made her do it. She took it upon herself to do that, all right? But he said what happened was he actually started to like the movies now. So essentially, you have this pleasurable act tied to this experience, which makes the overall experience more desirable, all right? And so now they've bonded even more. And so essentially, again, I'm not saying that's what you got to do, especially I'm not going to be like pushing non-married folks to engage in certain behaviors. But what I'm saying is, yes, when a man is being rewarded, anyone, man or woman, when you see that a certain action is rewarded, it makes you want to engage in that action more. So locating ways that you can give rewards for good behavior reinforces that behavior. And what you're going to notice is, again, less of a drop off with that individual. And if you ever do notice a drop off, ask yourself, okay, have I been showing appreciation? Have I been letting him know that this is important to me, but not just in my words, in my actions and the love I return to him? When you learn to build in that reward system, all right, it's going to do wonders. It's going to do wonders on the relationship. And again, you're going to see that good behavior continue for so much longer. All right. So number 2 on the list, continue to give him oral. Now I'm playing. Listen, though. I had to throw it in there, okay? I'm sorry. Forgive me. I know some of y'all probably don't even like that stuff. Listen, no. The real number 2 is show him you believe in him. All right? Show him you believe in him. Listen, one of the things a man needs from his woman is that encouragement, that upliftment, that sense that she believes in him, because it makes him feel like Superman. When that woman that you love and care about, is able to pour into you in that way, it's a very powerful thing. Now, granted, I always say to men that, you want her to believe in you, you have to give her something to believe in. So I'm not letting men off the hook in thinking you can just not do anything with your life, not apply yourself correctly, and expect women to just believe in you. You got to believe in yourself too. But understand that as a woman, number one, if you don't believe in this man for whatever reason, then why are you even entertaining a relationship with him, or why are you in that relationship with him? Because it is very difficult to then have the respect necessary in that relationship to foster a loving, positive relationship when you don't believe in this man. That's a huge crack in the relationship. That's going to bust the whole thing wide open. So you've got to be honest with yourself about, okay, why? And if the why is correctable, like let's say maybe you started off believing in him, but he made a bad decision that has damaged your trust, or he's taken an action that has caused you to question his ability to accomplish things, to lead, whatever, all right? Then it may be a situation that can be worked on and improved upon, but it needs to be addressed, because you cannot continue the relationship without that in place. And you've got to bring it back some way, somehow, because again, that man needs you to believe in him. And that is one of the things that's going to draw you, or draw him more to you. All right. That's going to one of the things that's going to make him appreciate, cherish, and covet you even more. And I mentioned it in the previous video where I said, listen, one of the reasons why some men are mama's boys is because she pours into them all these things. And one of those things is that belief in him, that he can do anything, that he can accomplish. And it's a source of inspiration and fuel in his life. All right. So you want to be that woman who can provide that to your man. And when you can, it's going to make him worry about losing you. So now we get to number 3. And before I mention number 3, 2 things. One, I know the title, for those of you who may be seeing this video first, I know the title may have thrown you off, make him worry about losing you. It's really not about striking fear in him. If you're noticing, I'm giving you steps that are more healthy approaches to take to creating an environment where this man does cherish and love you and not want to lose you. But it's not about creating this fear in his heart or playing mind games or anything like that. All right. Number 2, get my book, How to Get a Man to Cherish You. Click the link in the description or in the comments section. I don't have it with me today. My apologies. But it's an amazing book. Don't let that title trigger you. It's more than what you think. Women are loving it and finding it extremely helpful. So again, click the links below. All right. So now again, let's get to number 3. Number 3 is you need to make him a priority. Now, I know some of you might be shaking your head and feeling some kind of way, but of course, allow me to explain, allow me to break this down, all right? We know that women want to be made a priority in their relationships, all right? And we know it can be a huge problem when a man does not make her a priority. And I would tell a woman, don't accept being some man's convenience, all right? He needs to be able to make your priority. But the reality is that needs to happen in reverse as well. You got to be able to make sure you're putting your partner's needs at the top of your list. It does not mean neglect yourself in the process. It definitely doesn't mean turn from God in the process. It doesn't mean if you have kids, put your kids on the back burner for it. But it does mean that he has to be a focal point. And when I say he, what he needs from you in this relationship. Now, listen, of course, the goal is two people who make each other a priority, pouring into each other's needs. But you cannot overlook your role in that specific dynamic. Now, let me say this about the kids thing, and this might offend some people. I'm just gonna be real, but I have to say this and just hear me out. Let me start real quick with those of you who are already married, all right, and you have kids. I've seen so many situations. Let me give one perfect example where, let's say, the woman wants to have another baby. All right. Let's say they already had a child or two. She wants another child and the man is resistant to it. And I've had more than one man say to me, part of his resistance is because he already feels like he's low on the totem pole of priorities because of job, kids, and everything else going on in his wife's life. All right. So the last thing he wants to do is add another child to the mix and be knocked further down the list. All right. So there's a huge problem in the marriage because he does not feel like his needs and desires are prioritized. And you're not, and when that happens, you throw everything off. All right. So now, yes, this can happen in non-marital situations. The principle will remain the same. But of course, there's a greater argument to be made when you're married for this. But to get to the main point here, listen, you've got to find the balance of, I'm going to take care of my kids. I'm not saying the kids are not important, of course, but you cannot now start to neglect your partner because now you throw everything off. If you looked at it from the bottom up as a foundation, if you looked at it as the foundation is husband, kids, work, all right? You don't take care of husband, the whole house falls apart. You see what I'm saying? So you've got to make sure you take care of the husband, and that's going to trickle down into, or trickle up into, making everything else good. Because the man who loves you, especially if he's married to you, he loves his kids, or at least I hope so in most cases. He loves his kids. And so if he's happy, he's not going to expect you to just neglect your children for him. But he does not want to be ignored for them either. He doesn't want every excuse to be the kids this, the kids that, but never making time for him, never making adjustments for him. He has to be a priority. Now let's flip this to, you're not married. You have kids by somebody else, and now you're with this other guy. And a lot of people will say, well, my kids come first, end of story, that's it. Again, I would ask you, or I would want you to ask yourself, what are you then setting yourself up for if the plan is to be married to this person? What kind of structure do you have in place? Now, again, many people feel the need to, on the surface, say, oh, yes, the kids come first, the kids come first. And again, I have to keep repeating, it's not about neglecting the kids. I don't want this to be misconstrued. But your partner has to be a priority. And listen, this happens on the flip side. There are men with kids who put their female partner on the back burner all the time because the kids. And think about how that makes the woman feel. If you have been that woman, or you know a woman in that situation, ask them, how does it feel to always be put on the back burner for kids? They may say, oh yeah, it's the kids, I understand, but they're not happy. If they're not happy, that negativity is now going to infect the rest of the relationship, damage the entire household, and bring the whole thing down. So you've got to create this balance that allows you to, yes, prioritize your partner and their needs while still tending to the other things you have going on in your life or that are also priorities, such as your kids and so on and so forth. But just make sure that, yes, he is a priority as well. And if you don't have room for that, if you are someone who is dating or single, then maybe you need to get that structure in place first, that you can be able to balance those things before you try to be with anyone. Because now, if you don't have that balance and you meet someone, you're going to expect them to fit into your convenience. And as I said earlier, it wouldn't be fair when the man does it to the woman, so it definitely isn't fair with the woman doing it to the man either. So now we get to number 4. I hope y'all took a deep breath after number 3. But let's get to number 4. Number 4 is compliment him and show him desire. Now, again, to some of you, you might be saying, well, that's common sense. But the reality is that common sense ain't always so common. And I see tons of women holding back on expressing desire, showing desire, and even giving compliments to the man. I've even known married couples where the man has said to me, man, I get compliments from everyone except the one person I want it from, which was his wife. And there are men in relationships, non-married couples, who get compliments from other women, but his own girl don't compliment him. His own woman doesn't tell him how good he's looking today. His own woman doesn't text him randomly and tell him how much she wants him, misses him, whatever. You have to be willing to express desire and give compliments. And that is something that feeds a man's heart, that in a way that, yes, is going to make you more valuable to him, because it's not something that men get from women all the time. It's something that men are being told they have to give to women. They have to make sure they compliment, which I'll admit, some of them are doing a poor job at it as well. But the point is, we hear it plenty of times with men having to compliment their partners and express desires, but women are not always, but a lot of women are let off the hook. And it's almost like being allowed to hold back. All right. And it's this fear of being vulnerable. And because showing desire, showing interest in that way, even when you're in the relationship already, can be vulnerable for some people. And some people aren't comfortable with it. And some people aren't comfortable giving compliments or saying how nice you look. Well, that's a compliment. But the bottom line, they're not comfortable expressing themselves in that way. And that needs to be addressed. Now, granted, you can have some situations where that man may not be good at taking compliments. All right. So in fairness, you want to find out about your specific partner's needs. And is he someone who maybe his love language is words of affirmation, and he loves those compliments, and he loves when you show him desire randomly? Other guys may just be happy that you are loving them in other ways, and you're there for them, and you're loyal, and so on and so forth. So you do want to find out what is going to speak to that specific man's heart. But I do believe in general, all right, it is always good to be willing to speak to your partner in that way and express that desire. Which brings me to number 5. Initiate the intimacy. So listen, now again, let me throw this disclaimer out there. I know many watching are people of God, and if you're not married yet, this is not me saying go out there and have some sex. All right, don't take it that way. But the reality is many of you are already engaging in intimacy and engaging in sex, and some of you watching are already married couples or a married person. And so I want to talk about this topic within the dynamic of people who are engaging in intimacy already. So now listen, I can't tell you how many times I've heard a man talk about how the woman never initiates the intimacy. Not saying every woman does this. Some of y'all may be more horn dogs than your partner is, all right? Sorry if I called you a horn dog. But the bottom line is you may have a higher libido as a woman than he does. There are some situations like that, but I would argue that in most cases, it is the man feeling like he has to be the one to initiate. And some women carry the mindset of, well, as long as I'm willing to participate, that should be good enough. And that's not good enough. It's cool. It's good. All right. I'm sure he's happy that you're at least a willing participant when he wants to engage, but he wants to feel wanted too. He doesn't want to feel like he has to be the one to start things up. And again, it goes back to showing that desire, expressing that interest. It's a form of complimenting when you're saying to him, damn, you look good. Let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the one trying to make it happen with him. This is healthy. This is good. And this is going to make him feel more desired by you, which again makes him value you more, because typically that's not what men get to experience. All right. A lot of men not only are they not having the intimacy initiated by their partner, hell, they're not even getting the okay every time they want to initiate. So there's a deeper problem there, but we'll leave that alone. The point is, be willing to initiate the intimacy, but the intimacy isn't just sex. And this again goes back to learning your partner. You may have a man who likes PDA, public displays of affection, all right? So you being someone who just initiates affection at random times, that kiss, that holding his hand, he may love that. All right. He may enjoy that, and that's important to him. Some guys may not care for that stuff. He might be like, hey, chill out. Don't touch me right now. You know, like, he's uncomfortable with doing it in random places, or even at home. Sometimes he's not in the mood. You got to learn your partner, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there like that. And I know for a lot of women, part of the problem is the fear of rejection. Even when it comes to your own partner, there's this concern that I'm going to put myself out there and he's going to tell me no. But you got to not allow that to deter you, and also maybe come to an understanding with your partner about how to best handle those moments where maybe he's not in the mood, to where he can let you know in a way that doesn't feel offensive to you, but that you also learn not to internalize it, because him not wanting it in that moment doesn't mean it's anything about you. You know, men get in their moods too. Men have their issues too. So sometimes they don't care for the affection. They don't care for the sex or whatever, because their mind's not in it at that moment. All right. But talk about it, get on the same page. But I'm telling you, your willingness to initiate intimacy can go a long, long way to making that man worry about losing you. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Peace is something that men crave. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of men aren't getting it. A lot of men are in a relationship with a woman who may be a good woman, quote unquote, but that relationship is not